last week following Miami's embarrassing loss to the Cleveland Browns. I made a vow and a pledge never to pick the Dolphins to win another game until they actually won another game. Surprise, surprise, people. The Miami Dolphins pulled off a 34-10 road victory against the Kirk Cousins-led Atlanta Falcons. During this game, and it was an impressive game that finally the Dolphins played a complete game, all three phases. Miami had Bijan Robinson to 25 rushing yards. The Dolphins also had Tua Tagovailoa throw 4 touchdowns, and the Dolphins ran for 141 yards on 37 carries. Isaiah Smalls, you were there in Atlanta to see Miami's dismantling of the Falcons. How much of a factor you think it was that not only did Michael Penix not play, but Drake London didn't play?
I mean, it was a huge factor, right? Because it kind of allowed the Dolphins defense to key on the most important person in this offense, Bijan Robinson, right? And so because they were able to focus all their attention, focus all their energy on him, they didn't necessarily believe in Kirk Cousins that much. He hadn't played since, God knows, December or something of last year, right? They didn't necessarily believe in him. You know, the top receiver of the offense was already, out. So it just kind of allowed the defense to key on Bijan Robinson, specifically not allow him to get outside and run outside of the tackles, because that is where running backs like him love to flourish in the open space. And so they were able to, flush him inside. And then just arguably most important, right? The kid coughed up a fumble in the red zone, right? So when you cough up a fumble in the red zone, you're already not doing what you need to do, running outside the tackles and able to get to the open space that allows you as a running back to be successful. It kind of was easy just to stack the box and just kind of just do what they needed to do, man. It was honestly, I was very surprised that the Falcons weren't able to get Bijan in open space a lot. There was actually some routes in the third quarter where obviously the Falcons needed to push the ball down the field. However, Bijan was open with nothing but space in front of him, and they still weren't looking their way, right? So credit to the defense for having a great game plan. Credit to Anthony Weaver for putting together a great game plan, and the defense for executing.
Now, here's the thing, Isaiah. I have been waiting for that defense to show up all season. They had shown no semblance of life all season, no possibility of being able to stop the run all season. What was the difference? What clicked? Is it because the rookies are finally at game 8, or is it because Jordan Brooks was on fire? Terrell Dodson's back in the lineup. What was the difference in your mind to the run stopping?
For me, it was just like I said. They did not allow Bijan Robinson to get into open space. They kept trying to funnel him inside, where a bunch of guys tell me that's where the help is, right? If you allow an elite running back to get outside, get into open space, that's allowing him to go one-on-one with DBs. DBs don't really like to hit like that. And so it's credit to him to be able to just kind of run rampant and run wherever he wants. Now, when you funnel him inside, right, that's where you have the defensive tackles, you have the linebackers, guys were able to get in the backfield. And that was another thing that I noticed. A lot of their run pressures, their run blitzes that they use, right, those actually hit home a little bit. Right? Before they weren't really hitting home. That's how you got those big gaps, and the Rico Dallas and the Kamani Badals of the world were able to snap, right? But against an elite running back in Bijan Robinson, they were able to hold him at 25 yards. I think it was his second worst performance on the year from a rushing perspective, other than week 1 when they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the biggest question, right? Obviously, we're going to move on to this later. Is will they be able to do this again on Thursday night? Because they face another elite running back, Derrick Henry, who obviously is a little bit of a bigger body, but he also wants to get outside. Now, he can kill you between the tackles too, right? He will run over you, but he wants to go outside. He wants to get in the open space and show you what he needs to do, right? So that's my biggest question. That is a question I will be asking every defensive player this week. What in this game plan can translate to Thursday?
Yeah, and it wasn't just the defense that stepped up, even though it was a major improvement from what they've shown this season as the worst defense in the NFL, especially the worst against the run. But the offense was sharp, crisp, executed. I've always said Tua Tagovailoa is a play-action RPO-style quarterback. he needs that balance. He cannot go in a pass-happy situation. That's not the strength of his game. Tua needs to be able to move linebackers one direction and so he can throw a pass another direction. I don't think it has anything to do with the arm. It's just the style of quarterback. Now, how does he come back from a 6-interception performance the last 2 games to go throw 4 touchdowns without Darren Waller, without Tyreek Hill, and with that semblance of a laughable offensive line, who I got to acknowledge played a little bit better against the Falcons?
They did. I think they simplified the game plan for him, right? I think what they wanted to do was simple. They wanted to establish the run. That's why you saw Ollie go to Devon Achane and even Jalen Wright get touches very early in the game because they wanted to diversify the touches within the run game, but then also run the ball, right? Because when you run the ball, to your point, it allows Tua to be at his best, right? Because now the defense will be thinking run, and then it allows Tua play action, throw the ball right over their head, right? And I think one of the things that the Falcons defense is going to be kicking themselves about is that they had several opportunities. I can remember at least 3 chances that Tua threw a ball that was interceptable. There was one, the screen, right, that both Jesse Bates and then the linebacker just simply dropped, right? So that should have been an interception. But then also, there's a few times where Tua just zipped the ball right over their heads. And if they turn their head around while they're getting into their drops, that's a pick, right? And so, like, it was a great performance from Tua, a great performance from the offense. They really leaned heavy on the run and allowed him to, make some magic, even use his legs a little bit on that touchdown to Malik Washington at the end. I was like, oh, where'd that been? Oh, I did not think he could move like that still. Man, I did not. I hadn't seen it.
I keep telling you he could actually move.
I don't care. If you're not showing me it, I don't think you can. It's like that.
Do not run.
You're right. They tell him do not run, but that wasn't running the ball. That was creating with your legs.
Yeah, that's
not running the ball. That's different. That's being able to be mobile. That's a simple mobile quarterback move, right? That was just gain some time, allow your receivers to get open and fire the ball in there. He hadn't showed us that once all season. You cannot tell me that. He has not.
Offensive line that's not a turnstile, that he's not always playing on his defense. He's not always trying to protect himself from being hit. Man, now this game, they actually used a 6 offensive linemen. They had Daniel Brunskill, and I don't know why it took them this long to actually get to this. I was talking about that last year, using Patrick Paul as a 6 offensive lineman. Like, oh, gee, you finally lose all your tight ends that could actually block, and you say, you know what? Let me put a 6 offensive lineman in the game, and it works.
I mean, to McDaniel's credit, I think there was an element of surprise in there that kind of allowed this to flourish, right? McDaniel hadn't used that before in all of his years in Miami, right? So no one was expecting it, right? When they, lined up out there on Sunday. So you're right. Like, should he have tried earlier? Maybe, but also would have taken away the element of surprise that I think was very crucial and very, fundamental to this victory.
They knew they weren't playing without Julian Hill. You had to have it on the table that this could potentially be an option. You elevated a practice squad tight end, Dolich, to think he could play in the game, and Tanner Connor's not a blocker, so you weren't going to scrap your entire offense. That is the 2 tight end package is their base offense. You don't have any other receivers. So what are you going to do? 3 receiver sets? No. You go play 2 like
it makes sense. When you break it down like that, obviously it makes sense, but like they obviously were not prepared for that. Like that, it obviously threw them off because they didn't know what the hell to do, right? they didn't. Not really.
I don't know if they have the personnel to handle it because they got fast, speedy ends in Chop Robinson mold. They can't necessarily set the edge, but the speed helps them get upfield, and that's where the secondary. I mean, I wouldn't say he tore up the number 1 secondary in the NFL. He did well. He was efficient. He was a quarterback that I know he can be.
Yeah, of course.
Like, we know Tua doesn't turn the ball over on a consistent basis, even though when he does turn the ball over, it comes in bunches.
But I was about to say, I don't think we can say that now. Like that might have worked last year, but bro, he got.
He's a 6-year starter, bro.
I don't care. I don't. Hey,
He's
and
a
I want. And I.
six-year
How
starter.
many games per season does he average over that span?
Tua
Okay,
doesn't average
that's
that
not.
many. Tua doesn't average that many interceptions per season.
No, 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 no. I'm saying how many games per season? Because you're trying to tell me. Well, oh, he's a 6-year starter. Blah blah blah. Okay, fine. But how
He
many of
might
those
have he
six
might have
years?
2-3 games where he throws multiple interceptions.
That's not. You're still missing. You're still missing my point. You're saying he's a 6-year starter. I'm saying how many games in those 6 years did he actually play?
Oh, he played all six. This is
You
last
telling me
year
you telling me that my point
he's
is
missed five, he's missed six, and he played half the season, his first season as a starter. He played
okay, so that 6-year starter is what equivalent to what? Because come on. Okay,
okay.
that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. We're getting off topic. We're getting off topic.
Okay. Well, he's played more games than Joe Burrow. I bet you don't take off Joe Burrow 6 years. I'm
Yeah,
just
okay.
saying.
That's fair.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing, and I understand the game plan. I understand the changes and alterations that were kind of forced in their hand. The whole issue I have with why now, when you could have been doing that a little bit earlier, is it plays to your strengths. It plays to who you are as a team. Now, it's necessity because you ain't really got three receivers. It's necessity because you ain't really got an inline tight end right now.
Mm-hmm.
But why couldn't you implement 6 offensive linemen the rest of the season?
I mean, I think they might. Honestly, I think, and we can tell from the tone of the. At least I can tell a little bit from the tone of the conversation with Brunskill today, right? Like, eventually, and hopefully they might have to stack some wins to do it. But if they think he has hands, right? Maybe, maybe. Like I'm saying,
hold on, wait. You don't even need hands because think about it. A lot of times for Tua's bigger passes, they're max protecting and they're not putting 5 out. They are putting 3 out just because Tua can't, Tua's life is in danger half the time with that offensive line. It's true. Don't make faces like that. You know it's true. Come on. Jonah finally had a good game, and everybody's like, "Oh, Jonah's finally arrived. Like he gets to do the hockey in the locker room. Like, calm down. He had one good game.
Pump the brakes. I'm gonna need you to stack them Jones. Stack them Jones. Like I don't. The one game, anybody. What did Michael Jordan say? Anybody can do it once, right? I'm gonna need you to do it twice, 3 times, 4 times, repetition.
Like the one thing I will say, and you know this because I've said it multiple times. Mid-season point is when I'm the rookies. You ain't got no excuse no more. We done played 8, 9 games, counting the exhibition game. We're at 11. You played a whole college season. Like, so now we should be seeing who you are as a player. I will say this about Kenneth Grant. He has played better every week for probably the last 3 weeks. I'm excited to see where he is next week because he's younger. He should have a fresher body than everybody else on the team. A Thursday night game should be no big deal for him. Now, but I'm really excited to see where those rookies play and how they play in the later stretches. Dante Trader Jr., like, best game. He wasn't playing because of a shoulder injury. Injuries forced him into the action. Probably had his best game as a pro. Ollie Gordon, best game as a pro. We are finally seeing the rookies, all this investment that we've had in playing time, start to step up. My question to you, Isaiah, is who is next?
From a rookie standpoint?
Yeah.
Who is next up? That's interesting. It's a good question. I think, man, that's a really good one. Let me think because we got to go next week, right? Obviously, it's the Ravens, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna try to run the ball. My question is, I mean, it has to be Jordan Phillips, right? It has to be because if Kenneth Grant is already starting to turn the corner, let me not say turn the corner. It's playing well. If Jonas Savaiina is playing well, Dante Trader is playing well. Obviously, I think Dante Trader has been playing well almost all season. I just think that he obviously had a bad moment when it mattered the most, right?
Safety's got to make plays, bro. Safety. Hold on, wait a minute. Safety's got to make plays. We can't. I'm not gonna sit here and say you playing well. You ain't make a play the whole game. Like
he had made a play. He'd stopped the touchdown to Aronde Gadsden. Go back and watch the film. That's how he's hurt his shoulder to begin with. Was when his throwing into Aronde Gadsden. That's how he, like I said, touchdown saving play. It has to be good on Phillips, and I will say this, right? Like, obviously, like I said earlier, they want to go outside with Derrick Henry. If you force him inside, guys like Jordan Phillips, guys like Kenneth Grant, Zach Sealer, like they can eat off that, right? And so it's really, to me, it's about this connectivity of this defense, right? And that's the one thing that I don't think I emphasized enough earlier. We're talking about Bijan. Like, this was the first time they were actually game tackling.
They were playing on a string. Everybody was connected.
Everybody was connected. And that's something that we just hadn't seen all year. It seemed like everybody was kind of doing
it looks completely different than everything that they had put on film the previous. It was a string. Everybody was connected. I don't know what created this change. Now, I will say this. They didn't play that bad in Cleveland. They showed signs. Now, the score didn't show that. Oh, yeah, they didn't play that bad defensively in Cleveland. They had one big
half. In the second half.
No, I thought the first half, they had the penalties. They had 3 penalties that continued drives. But without those penalties, and some of them were kind of questionable, they were off the field.
One was
oh, 2. Hold on, wait.
The second one.
Come on.
The Jalen Phillips one. But I understand where you come from, and this is how I feel about all PIs, right? Like, I understand why, like, they're debatable. Even the one with Rasul yesterday, like, I understand why that's debatable. My thing is, I wouldn't give the ref a reason to make the call, right? Because if it's a toss up, they're gonna penalize you, right? And so that's my thing. Like, don't give them a reason to make the call. So I understand where you're coming from. The Jalen Phillips were 100%. Bad call. I think I want to see something done in the rule book for that, because that to me is just a total. It gives left-handed quarterbacks an extreme.
And I believe Zach Sealer got the first penalty for like roughing the passer, and really you saw Zach jump over the guy to not hit him. I'm like, how? I'm intentionally not putting my weight on him, but yeah, maybe there was helmet to helmet. I don't know, but I felt like outside of those penalties, outside of the 40-yard run, and outside of a lot of offsides, yes. I was about to say, when you start saying outside of like being put in bad situation by the offense, and then them having 2 easy scores, I thought they played relatively well. Now, it was against a rookie quarterback who's probably going to be benched if Shedeur isn't traded this week. I'm telling you, Shedeur is going to be traded this week. Really? You didn't play him. His market. Come on. When is his market? I don't know who needs him. Maybe Baltimore needs him, because I'm in the middle of watching the Ravens against Chicago, and you know who's balling? Tyler Snoop Huntley.
Speaking of Tyler Huntley, bro, you saw he got his teeth fixed. Like, he got either got veneers or he don't got the gap no more.
Oh no, I didn't see it. Maybe it's Invisalign. Listen. But I'm watching that game. I'm like, who is this man out here throwing dimes?
That's a Pro Bowl quarterback. What you talking about? he has the same amount of Pro Bowls as Tua.
Oh, damn. See? I know. See? That's why I said that meme. I don't know you, man. Won't know you. Don't jump on the bandwagon now.
Look. This is my thing. Like, I will give you all the praise when you're doing well, right? Regardless of how I feel about you as a quarterback, right? Like, I'm gonna give you praise when you're playing well, because I don't want people to say, like, I saw a comment out after the last one, like, Isaiah was so happy to bat going to us. Like, I'm not happy to do it. Like, it's not, but it's part of the job. Like, he threw 6 picks in 2 games. You want me to be, oh, it's okay, get him next time? Hell no. You was trash in 2 games, all right?
Okay.
But today, he balled.
I know Tua is an honest man, but there isn't a moment this season, if not his entire career, he's ever said, I'm working behind trash. Like, y'all want me to be more comfortable in the pocket? How about you put a decent line in front of me? Like, I'm sure he's had
He
that
said
conversation with Mike McDaniel
Okay.
privately.
I was gonna say that. Okay. I was gonna say.
But like, I'm out here running for my life, fearing for my life. The ball is snapped, and half the time somebody is in my face, ready to just destroy me. Like, you got and then the Cleveland game. I'm not making excuses for Tua, but he out there operating traffic, telling people where they gotta go because they're not used to being on the field. Like, oh, you gotta line up over here. I mean, I gotta read the defense. I gotta do my job. How about you know where you're supposed to be? Which is why I give them credit. The funny thing is, Mike McDaniel threatened change after Cleveland. The only change he made was putting Frank Smith on the field.
That was a good change, though.
It was a good change,
because and to me, I was interested to see how he answered the question. Like, okay, what did that mean? What did that do? Right? And what he said was like, throughout practice, the team had been very, very just connected and very just whenever Frank tried to explain when they messed up and with Frank there, they kind of were a little bit tighter, right? They were like they were trying to be tighter on their assignments. And one of the things he said was like Wednesday there was like 2 pre-snap penalties, Thursday there's 1, by Friday there's 0, right? And so there's something about Frank Smith's presence on the field as a problem solver that makes the guys feel more comfortable. And regardless of the situation, whether this is a temporary thing or not, it should not be. Like, I'll just say that. You need to have that man on the field because that offense was the crispiest it looked all week.
I think Mike is a superstitious guy, and he ain't going to change nothing that he did. Obviously, you don't even have the time to change anything. And this is what people don't realize. Thursday night's game, I don't even think the Dolphins will even practice this week. You're literally walk through, day off, walk through, game. That's a recovery, day off, walk through, game. And so it's mainly a challenge to your body. But this is the interesting part about it. The NFL majority of the time, make Thursday night games division games because you know your division opponent. You don't have to study the Patriots or the Jets because you know them. This is the Baltimore Ravens. You do not play them often. You play them a lot lately, and they smack you down a couple of times. But you know the style. And the question is that fair to the Dolphins and the Ravens? Because this is supposed to be a division game. Like, it's
you gotta. I don't care about that fairness stuff. They get paid millions of dollars to play a sport. Like, I don't like. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, is it fair? Probably not. But like, you know, is it fair that like teams have to travel all the way to London to play a game? No, like it's not, right? But like it's part of what they signed up for when they inked that deal, right? So fairness, not fair, like you just gotta do it. You gotta do what you gotta do. And if anything, they have the advantage of a Lamar Jackson who is their home, and Lamar Jackson who could be rusty. Right, I'm not saying he will be. That this is a former MVP we're talking about, but he could be rusty.
Homecoming for Lamar Jackson. You think he's gonna rest at the homecoming?
I don't know. Rusty.
Oh, rusty. Okay, I thought you said resting.
He's not resting. Heck no. I was on the phone with my dad earlier and said there is no way that Lamar Jackson misses this game. Come on now.
Now, the biggest challenge for the players is how do their bodies recover? This is more of a challenge for the guys in the upper 20s and in their 30s than it is for some of the young players. Here's Minkah Fitzpatrick addressing the biggest challenge of playing these Thursday night games.
It's more so your body is still kind of beat up going into that second game on Thursday. So really just making sure you're taking care of your body on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and even on the game day on Thursday. Just making sure you're doing your preparation right, your film study right. So now instead of having a full week, you only got 3.5 days to prepare, so it's getting those things right. So, but I also think another important thing is not over preparing or over analyzing. You have a short week, so don't make your schemes complicated. Don't make your process complicated. Go out there, do what you do at a high level, and execute.
I always wonder because they're usually division opponents. Mm-hmm. You guys are playing a team that's not a division opponent. Does that create an even greater challenge?
For me personally, no, because I played in Baltimore plenty of times. You know what I'm saying? But for anybody who hasn't and doesn't really know their identity or what they try, how they're trying to operate, it could be a struggle. Minka when team is struggling.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Minka Fitzpatrick, obviously, he injured a finger. More than likely, if it's super injured, it's going to have surgery and be casted. We don't know the prognosis of that. We'll talk to Mike McDaniel later. And Storm Duck left the game being carted off the field with a knee injury. But we've also got guys like Julian Hill, who obviously is an important piece of this offense. More than likely, I don't anticipate him playing on Thursday night just because we haven't seen him actually in person. Yeah, usually if that's the case, he's in a boot and sort of immobilized. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Also, this week, last week, I noticed Austin Jackson working on the field. I've noticed James Daniels working on the field. So that hints that they're closer to coming back. The question is, when do they get cleared to begin practicing with the team? More than likely, they'll practice for a week with the team before they get thrown out there into the game situation. And with Austin Jackson, I think the Dolphins are going to be extra cautious because the last time he suffered the foot injury, he rushed back, got on the field, injured himself in the very first game. And this is not the first time that's happened to Austin Jackson. He rushed himself back from an injury in, I believe it was 2021, and suffered a setback that ended his season. I think it was an ankle injury at that time. So with Austin, you got to be careful, but it's clearly a need to upgrade the offensive line unless you're comfortable with the six offensive linemen on the field, which, hey, at this point, if it works,
I need my guys back. I need my guys back. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, just think about the line of questioning that we had today. We asked Larry Bourne about Daniel Brunskill. What in the world is happening? Where are we as a team? I need also Jackson James Daniels back. ASAP. Come on now.
You know what's funny about Larry Bourne? He hasn't been the biggest disaster.
No, of course. No. Definitely not. It's more so on the interior.
Yeah, and this is a guy who, he actually has experience playing guard. You know that. Not to say that that's the answer, because we are way past the point of no return on Jonas Savaiinaea. Like we in this.
You gotta stay here now. 100%.
And the same situation. I say the same situation with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson was active last week. This bothers me a ton. When I say a ton, I mean a ton. If we are saying screw everything, screw everybody, this is about the young players developing, gaining progress, seeing what they got, and you've full-fledged thrown the young players into the fire in the deep end of the pool. You threw them in 10 feet water to see if they were able to swim. What the hell are you doing playing Zach Wilson over Quinn Ewers? Like, shouldn't this be? How is he the lone exception of the rookie class that's not just being thrown into the deep end of the pool? Like, you need to know Zach Wilson will not be here next year. He will not. Okay. You need to know who Quinn Ewers is as a quarterback, so you know whether or not you have a capable backup for Tua Tagovailoa or not. So, but these are the Dolphins. They'll do Dolphin things. Oh man, I bet you we've probably seen the last of the 6 offensive linemen, even though it worked.
I hope not.
Yeah.
For the love of God.
On that note, we will be back. When will we be back? Are they practicing tomorrow?
Yeah, they're practicing tomorrow.
We'll be back this week. We'll figure it out. As we get you prepared for the Dolphins' Thursday night game against the Baltimore Ravens.